7회 수능 영어 독해 미니 모의고사
Number 1. Sudden strokes of good luck and cruel twists of fate can significantly affect one's feeling of satisfaction with life. For this reason, those studying happiness have focused a great deal of attention on lottery winners and on those who have suffered serious injury. Research has shown that the feelings of joy and happiness that come with winning the lottery last for a relatively short amount of time before declining. Some studies suggest that lottery winners do remain happier than they were before the big win, but not nearly to the extent that most people imagine. When it comes to those who have suffered tragedy, though, studies have shown that the level of one's life satisfaction follows a very different trend. Research on people who have been paralyzed in accidents shows that their former level of satisfaction can in fact be regained once they have had enough time to adjust to their new circumstances.
Number 2. Throughout history, humans have consumed all kinds of substances in order to improve their physical performance. In 1928, however, the International Association of Athletics Federations, IAAF, decided to ban the taking of performance-enhancing drugs, now called doping, in sports. This, the IAAF thought, would ensure that no one athlete would have an unfair advantage over another. However, a ban is only effective if restricted substances show up in tests, and new drugs that cannot be detected are constantly being created. Now, there is a solution that could stop doping for good. The idea is to create a biological passport for each athlete by recording his or her unique biological traits. This process started in 2014 with athletes' blood and steroid levels. Once a full biological passport has been created, there will no longer be any need to worry about detecting new drugs. Athletes will only have to be tested for changes in their own body.
Number 3. Photosynthetic organisms like plants and algae are able to capture carbon dioxide and turn it into chemical energy. In this process, they also produce water and release oxygen into the air. All of this happens to be what we are trying to do in order to save the Earth from the threat of climate change. Unfortunately, we cannot duplicate this process, but what scientists have recently revealed is that there is another way we can benefit from it. During photosynthesis, plants also produce organic matter, much of which is excreted into the soil. Here, naturally occurring microorganisms break it down and release electrons. Scientists are now developing a device that can gather these electrons in an electrode and create a circuit like that in a battery. With this technology, electricity can be gathered and the plants themselves would be totally unharmed. Even though we cannot exactly copy photosynthesis, we can still take advantage of this process thanks to this amazing new device.
Number 4. In the last century, theories based on behavioral and evolutionary science were predominant in academic psychology. But thinkers taking more humanistic and existential approaches expressed some sharply contrasting views, especially when it came to the value of materialistic endeavors. Although a certain degree of material comfort is needed so that humans' basic physical needs can be met, these thinkers argued that focusing on material pursuits negatively affects an individual's overall well-being and happiness. Rather, they argued, the core determinants of one's psychological health are things like interpersonal relationships and participation in community activities. From this perspective, the pursuit of material gain doesn't just distract individuals from experiences that would put them in a positive state of mind. It represents an alienation from what is truly meaningful in life. For example, when husbands and wives focus all their efforts on making money, they have little time left over to spend with each other. These lost opportunities to enjoy each other's company will work against their psychological health.
Number 5. At the end of the 19th century, Great Britain fought a war with the Boers of South Africa. The Boers were the descendants of European settlers who had arrived in Africa in the 17th century. Despite their superiority in weapons and numbers, the British troops lost battle after battle to the Boers, who were experts at guerrilla warfare. One week went so poorly for the British Army that the British newspapers began to refer to it as Black Week. A British general named Redvers Buller tried his best to make the situation seem better than it actually was. When he was asked about one of the Black Week battles that the British had lost, he proudly explained that they had retreated without losing a man, a flag, or a cannon. Later, an American artist named James McNeill Whistler read what Buller had said and sarcastically remarked, "Or a minute."